Hey everybody, it's your girl off the Doc B. She's in the building, and I am about to turn it over to my co-host. Give me 1 second. Let's turn it over to my co-host. Okay, there you go, Azzam. How you doing, brother? Assalamu
What's
alaikum.
good? What's good? Wa alaikum assalam, rahmatullah, barakatuh, sis.
Okay, you can introduce her, and I'm gonna get out.
Okay, what's going on, family? Your boy is back in the building. I'm back in the building. Bring it to the table. I'm back in the building. Look who popped in. Listen, we want to thank Doc B once again for allowing me this opportunity. We got a treat for you tonight. I got a sister straight out of Texas. Me and her gonna just talk, and we're gonna get a little bit to know about her. I want to thank y'all for coming out. Don't forget to like, tag, share, because we're gonna get it in. And this sister is very inspiring, and we're just gonna go through some stuff. But again, her name is Adree. She's out of Texas. Miss Adree, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. I'm doing really good today. I'm a little nervous, but I'm good.
It's all good. It's gonna be real natural. It's just some basic question because I know you're a little something. I know some stuff you've been through, and I believe you have a lot to offer our audience. Audience, if you out there, if you're chatting, I'm gonna get to that soon. But again, put the hearts up. Again, share, like, again, we want to thank Arthur Doc B. Real quick, if you don't know, she got the book, How I Survived Crack, Cancer, and COVID-19, the 3C. Another thing I want to mention to y'all, don't forget about the GPS. The GPS, General Practice of Survival, is the 30-day workbook to show you how you can survive your traumas, things that you have been in your life. So let's get to Sister Adree. Adree, we're going to just start like this. Adree, 5 years old. What was that like, if you could recall that? Two-parent household, like what's up? What's going on? Talk
Yeah,
to us.
5 years old for me. Definitely always been a two-parent household. Dad was working. At the time, mom was working. I was actually going to a private school. Um,
Okay.
so like my parents really invested in my education, me and my brother. So like education and like just having a good head on our shoulders was key. Like implementing um just going to school, doing our homework, doing chores. Like that was when like the foundation started in my household. So 5 years old, I would say life was good
Okay,
for the
so
most
so
part.
question. You said you and your brother. Any other siblings other than that?
Yeah, I have an older sister. She's 23 years older than me. I actually did not meet her until I was like 8 or 9. I had
Wow.
no clue she existed until I was like 8 or 9. So she was a complete stranger for years.
So did you have all the things that a 5-year-old? I say she said they provided. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So was there any you seen any arguing, any traumas, any substance abuse, mental health, anything of that?
At 5 years old, no. Like my
No.
innocence was definitely still intact at
Okay.
5.
Okay. And
Later on, that's when it started kind of
okay, we
unlayered.
gonna we gonna we gonna go there. We're gonna go there. So definitely. So 5 years old to 10, everything good.
I would say around 8 or 9 is when things kind of start getting a little shaky. My mom, she stopped working around that time. She had got lupus.
Okay.
So it was just my dad working at that time. And that's when my parents started kind of I guess coaching me to start fending for myself and start taking care of my mom.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
what was that like? You know what it sound like, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with the family structure, because
Mhm.
now it sound like, you ever heard of the caretaker
Yeah.
as a child? What
Mhm.
was that like for you? Because now you can't be the child you want to be, and now
Yeah.
you taking care of the adult.
Um, at first it was, I felt like, oh, I'm just helping mommy. But then it wasn't just like something I could kind of get in and out of doing. It was a actual responsibility. Something like some minor things. Like my mom was sick all the time, so like just making soup and bring it to her, or like I learned to bathe my mom at 8 or 9 years old.
Wow.
So it was just, but I was seeing my brother doing child things, so I was like, well, this is not fair.
Mm.
It just didn't click to me, like, why am I doing this while he still gets to be whatever age, I think 11 at the time. So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow. So, and how long did this go on for?
this went on until I was 19.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So I need to ask, did any resentment build up towards your brother?
yes. I
Wow.
didn't like him. Like,
You
me and
did.
him were not, we did not have a good sibling relationship. Because I think he understood, like, he kind of got away with a lot of responsibility and I was kind of just stuck. So there was a lot of resentment against him, like, and he didn't like me. He like when I tried to play with his friends, he was like, they're not your friends, they're my friends. So I'm like,
Ooh.
okay. So it was just,
Wow.
I just didn't feel a part of in any aspect growing up.
Okay, so and I know you jumped to 18, 19, and I don't want to skip by junior high school. What was that like?
It was hell. It was hell. After sixth grade, my dad was kind of faced with the dilemma. Do I stay here in Texas and might get laid off, or do I move my family up to Michigan with a for sure job? And
Mm-hmm.
we moved to Michigan. So anything that I did know down here in Texas, family, friends, it was all new. And with middle school already being kind of like a transitional period, I was just a fish out of water. Like,
Mm.
that's when I started dealing with mental health really, really bad. Um, a lot of times I attempted to kill myself because I
Wow.
didn't feel heard. I didn't feel, again, a part of. I just felt very ostracized from my family and from like the school environment that I was just thrusted into.
So
So,
psychologically, you became messed up. Did
yeah.
you seek help for that at the time?
Um Once I was actually heard, I only got help when I ran a fever. I think it was like 7th grade, and I was like, my fever was high. It was like 102, 103. And around that time, I was like cutting and all this other stuff. And my mom saw it on my arm. And that's when she's like, oh, this is serious. That's when she took it serious. But any other time, it was like, oh, you're just
I
normal.
need to ask, any hospitalizations?
Mm-mm,
None.
mm-mm.
So was it seeking attention, superficial cuts? Um,
No, it was like actual cuts. Like, I
okay.
was ready to end my life. I would take my mom was taking a lot of medications, and I was taking a lot of those. Nothing was working. I was done. I hated, like, that time in middle school. I don't remember
Okay.
much, but that's what I remember.
So we're gonna have to back up a little bit. So you started taking mom's medication.
Mhm.
I don't need to
Mhm.
know which ones it was, but how often? And what did it do at that point? Did you become addicted to it? Like, what did it do for you?
I definitely for me, it was a lot of medications that kind of like sedated me. So I would just kind of just not I would just kind of pass out. I would sleep all the time. Like, anything that kind of just, if I didn't have to be awake, that was my preferred method of coping. So a lot of it was sedatives. Um so I liked it because the moment I woke up, I was like, I don't mm-mm. So since I
Mm,
was her caretaker at the time, I learned to start cooking 'cause she was bedridden at this point. Because there was other elements that got on that she kind of got from going to the doctors. So at this point, she was bedridden and she was dependent on somebody else. So I kind of took advantage of that. And, one, two, three pills here or there. She didn't miss it. She didn't know it was gone.
mm. Okay, thank you. And I need to back up real quick for 1 second. If you're just joining us and if you're out there, we here at Bring It to the Table, Surviving Addiction, Life and Death. We here with Queen Adree out of Texas. And you probably missed the start of this, but listen, we going in right now. She just talked about a bunch of stuff, how the parent thing turned around, how she became a parent. Then she had to medicate herself to deal with being a parent, but then wake up nice and happy.
Pretty much.
Interesting,
Yeah.
interesting, right? So did this affect you now? Educationally, what ended up happening? Because I know you was doing good in school and all that coming up. How did that affect you?
Educationally, I knew if I didn't bring home good grades, there was trouble waiting for me at home.
Mm.
So I still managed to like get A's and B's, National Honor Society, National Junior Honor Society, honor
Wow.
roll. So like I made sure that I didn't add more to any problems that I had going on. So I made sure like my grades were still where they needed to be.
So there was still sound like there was still some discipline there, some
Yeah,
discipline to a degree,
yeah,
like self discipline. You knew something you had to do in
yeah.
order to still please the household.
Yeah.
So you get through junior high school come along. What's going on?
High school, um, at that time, my mom, like, she was getting progressively sicker. Um, More diagnoses, rheumatoid arthritis, pulmonary fibrosis, which I'm sure we'll get to later. At that time, my mom, she was faced with the dilemma. Do I stay up here and get sicker where it's cold, or do I go back
Mm-hmm.
to Texas? And at that point, my brother was already off to college, so he wasn't really a concern. But we moved back to Texas my 10th, like I think it was the second semester of my 10th grade year. So again, another move, another transition. All the friends I grew up with, they had their own set of friends. So I felt left out again. And me and my mom didn't like each other. We didn't have a good relationship. Even though I
Mm.
was taking care of her, couldn't stand her. I love her, couldn't stand her.
Very interesting. So here it is. You had friends in Texas. You lose them.
Mm-hmm.
You move to Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
make some new friends, and you move back.
Yeah.
What is your support system like?
The only person I really had at the time was my mom's best friend, um, who was like an aunt to me, but that was really it. My dad, he stayed in Michigan, so he wasn't here. My brother, he was about 4 hours away going to college, and he was, living his best college life. I didn't have a support system. It was just me and my mom, and she really couldn't do much.
Wow, that's interesting because now you're really left to fend for yourself and take care of your mother.
Mm-hmm.
No support.
Mm-mm.
Where you at now mentally with that?
Mentally, I just whatever I can try to get my hands on, I'm doing it. Like any
Wait,
medications that
hold up.
she
You just can't
had.
go by that. Doing what? Doing what?
At the time, like I said, my mom, she has some strong medication. She One thing I remember, she would get these boxes of fentanyl patches. And I would just cut the patches in half and I would place them on, and I would just again, I would like it just kind of knocked me out. At this point, I got introduced to weed. So anything I could do to kind of just get me out of my own mind and like what responsibilities I had. Like if I could fall asleep when I got home, then it's like I'm not responsible for taking care of somebody else.
Interesting. So now you're escaping.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
escaping.
I
Does
had
it
to.
progress?
Within like while I was still in high school, no, it pretty much kind of just stick to. Well, no, I would say maybe senior year progressed because at that point, I don't know why or what happened, but I kept getting in car accidents. Like I kept getting rear-ended. And when I would go to the hospital, my mom, she taught me how to lie. Like because she would ask me like, well, what's your pain level at? And I would tell her it's always 6 or 7. She's like, no, it's a 10. So she started teaching me like how to get like the good medication to kind of, so she was coaching me and doing that. So I would say it progressed in that way. I started getting my own pills that I didn't have to take from her. So
Interesting. Very interesting.
mhm.
So now you're in high school. Did you complete?
I did complete high school. I did walk across the stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
What? Now I gotta ask. Were you high?
No, I actually
No.
wasn't. I actually was not high
Okay.
when I went
Okay.
across the
And
stage.
so you was able to experience the whole phenomena
Yeah.
of graduating. Did moms make it? Did dad come? Your brother?
Yes, all three of them did come.
Okay.
So it was just them. Any like out of town family
Yeah.
wasn't
Well. Yeah. I'm glad you bring that up because you said no support. So there was your mother, no brothers and sisters.
not that we really had a relationship with.
Okay. A
Yeah.
strange family then.
Mhm. Yeah.
Wow. To this day, I gotta go there. So what is it like now? No, matter of fact, there's some stuff that still we're missing here. How long did this go on with you taking care of your mother?
Up until I was 19, because she passed away.
Wow. My
Yeah.
condolences.
Yeah. So once she passed away, like it didn't get better for me because at that point, like my only responsibility was taking care of her and trying to fend for myself. And again, my dad was still out of state. My brother was in college. Um, I didn't know what to do. Like I was just lost. I just felt like I
Right.
was just completely lost.
Okay. So
So,
again, we talk about surviving addiction and life and death. Your
yeah.
mom dies, you're still alive, you're feeling lost. What do you do?
At that point, like that's when my addiction took off. I kind of just really got into the wrong groups of people, like certain jobs that I've had, um, where it was like probably not in the best of neighborhoods. Anything they introduced me to, cocaine, of course, more weed, more alcohol. Um, I would take it. I didn't ask questions. If it made me feel good, like I did it at,
Okay.
at any time, all the time. Um, so it just got progressively worse. Like it went from just the weekends to after work to we're just gonna do it all the time.
Okay. So I gotta ask, how did you pay for it as it progressed?
Like
You ain't gotta be
financially,
so detailed. Shit. Here at Bring It to the Table, we keep it real, we keep it 100, we keep it gully, but it's still up to your spirit. Let your spirit move you as to how detailed you want to be.
um, a lot of times it would be with just money, but a lot of times my body is how I would get it.
Okay.
If they wanted what I had and I wanted what they had, then we basically just made a swap.
Okay. Fair exchange ain't no robbery,
Mm-mm.
basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. I'm feeling
Yeah.
that. All right. So at now, you're using, it's getting progressively worse,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's life threatening now. What do
Yeah.
you do? At what point? When do you hit bottom?
Um. hmm. So after all of that, like I got introduced to methamphetamine, and that's when it really took off. I didn't hit bottom, like my true bottom, until I was 25. Which I was in a place where I was no longer living at my parents' house. I was living with a friend. And long story short, I was just not myself. I was fighting with them physically, verbally, and my friend's mom had just had enough. She's like, I don't know where you're gonna go, but you can't stay here anymore. Like
Mm,
you have to go because I can't. I have children and I have a life I'm trying to live, and I'm not gonna watch you destroy yourself any longer. And
wow.
from there, I was forced to move back home, which this is the same house that my mom passed in. So it was a lot of trauma here that I just didn't want to deal with.
Got you. Got you.
Mhm.
Did you ever seek counseling for your grief?
I did, but it was in the midst of me still using. So any medication that my doctor would prescribe to like help with like depression or anxiety or whatever, um, that got put on the back burner because I'm still using. And this is what's helping me cope at this point in time.
So you play doctor, self-medicate,
Yeah.
right? That's what they call it, right?
Yeah.
At,
Yeah.
at what at what point, right? Bring it to the table, Adree. At what point do you say enough is enough? I can't do this no more. Cause I know they got a saying about the ends are always the same. Jails, institutions,
Institutions and stuff.
at
Yeah.
what point? Matter of fact, did you ever go to jail for any use and anything like that?
Surprisingly, no. By the
Wow.
grace of God, no.
Okay. Okay.
No.
So I know they talk about how your own private hell or jail was built within. So
Hmm.
you at this place now. You're using nowhere to turn, no support. What happens with Adree at this point?
At this point, I had got introduced to a group of people that really helped, but I still wanted to kind of just do things my own way, just one more time. And I was drinking and I was behind the wheel and I got hit by, well, here it's called Via, but it's just a regular city bus. Um and I remember I was on the phone with a friend of mine and she had told me like after the next day that I was talking belligerently to the cop and somehow the cop let me go home. Like oddly enough, through all the ups and downs, like that was enough for me because I'm like, that was like the second car I had wrecked in my addiction. I'm like, I don't feel like buying another car. And just seeing it, like once I kind of like sobered up and got cleaned up a little bit and seeing how bad it was and I was still walking, something clicked of like maybe something's looking out there for me. Like maybe this path I'm going on is just not the path I should be on. So something clicked to where I was like, enough is enough. And I went a different direction.
Okay. And it's interesting that you say that because during all that other time, was there anything spiritual in your life, like coming up? You know what I'm saying? Through all that right there, was you ever connected to anything spiritual?
Um, Prior to, funny enough, my dad's actually a preacher. So I was raised in the
Interesting.
church. Yeah. So like I had a very clear understanding of God and all the things that come with it. Um, It's just once my mom had passed, I was very reluctant to relying on that God
Oh,
because I was so angry. But like going in a different direction and finding people who understand me has helped me get back to a place of having a relationship with God. But it took some time.
okay. So you meet these new people,
Mhm.
and I guess they instill some type of hope. What was that like when the turnaround, the turnabout happened?
Yeah, like it's hard to explain, but just having people who understand me and having like something physically to look at of knowing like other people's stories, other people surviving
Yeah.
addiction and getting to a place where they're not even just with material things like cars and houses and stuff, but a place where they're at peace and they like genuinely have like a smile on their face. Like that's what brings me hope of like I'm not as bad as I thought I was, right? Like it was
Okay.
just some bad choices that I made. And because that's all I've ever wanted was just peace and to be
Yeah.
happy. And to have that through other people and through God is probably the best blessing I've ever been given. Um,
Awesome.
so I'm grateful.
Awesome. So you're in your beginning stages. You got this new revelation in your life where that
Hmm.
you realize you could live life without the use of a move mind altered chemical.
Hmm.
Where's Adree at with that today?
Today, I'm still just working on how to be a better me because even though like I haven't used in 2.5 years, like there's still
Congratulations.
some behaviors
Oh,
that,
ooh,
yeah, there's still some behaviors that kind of linger. Um, so it's something I'm still working on, but I would definitely say like there's been some progress. There's definitely been some hard work done to not be the same Adree I was a year ago or 2 years ago. So it's still work in progress. We're not
Okay, okay.
not
God
to
is
the
not
finish
finished
line
with
yet.
you yet. Bring it to the table. God is not finished with you yet. So
Yeah.
you got these new people in your life.
Hmm.
Anyone you're still connected to that was connected to your addiction? Because I know that's important.
Actually, yes. So the same friend and her mom that kicked me out and wanted nothing to do with me. And again, like nothing but God. Like I have a really strong relationship with them again. And my friend actually she just got pregnant, and I was like one of like the first people she told that she's pregnant. Because I remember me and her used to always talk about like when we have kids, like, we're gonna be each other's kids' aunts. So I'm actually been planning the gender reveal with her mom as of recently.
Oh,
So yeah.
wow.
So yeah.
Congrats. Because I know in this process, those we have harmed, those we have hurt, we get an opportunity to make amends. And,
Hmm.
you know, have you made your own amends with yourself, with your brother? What is that like? What is your and your brother relationship like now?
I would say it's probably the best it's been.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it took the passing of my mom and some just time to allow us to realize like life is too short. Like I have him and my sister, which me and her have been building a relationship, which I'm really grateful for. So it's taken some time and some understanding on both parties to realize like where we were at when we were younger, and we were older now. So it's a different perspective that we have with each other.
Okay. And you saying that you and your sister have a better relationship.
Hmm.
How's you and your dad?
Me and my dad have always been good. Like my dad is my absolute best friend.
Okay.
So it was a little rocky during the times that I was using, but he never once judged me or condemned me or turned away from me. And even now in this process of you know, being clean and working on myself, like he's like my number one supporter. And I love that man to pieces.
Besides your dad, who inspires you today?
Mm. I honestly would say like the people around me do. I've actually been in a place where like I want to be surrounded by people who inspire and motivate me, who are doing things that I want to do, like, getting married and moving up in companies. So like I would say that just the friend group that I have today is an inspiration of just putting in some time and some hard work and not letting past choices define us.
Okay. Who do Adrian inspire? I'm sure you got people that's probably inspired by you.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I
They
would say
don't
my
tell you.
niece.
The
My
niece.
niece looks up to me for sure. Because she reminds me of me, which is kind of scary. But I would say I inspire her for
Okay.
sure.
And a couple of more questions I have. Like, so what is like father when it comes to your physical discipline, taking care of yourself, eating properly, because
Yeah.
Doc B talks a lot about that too, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And you got to get the book, and I talk more about that maybe off camera, whatever. But she
Yeah.
has an awesome book that definitely can help in the healing process. What do Adri do, as far as when it comes to your physical health?
I just try to eat right. My mind will tell me that I can eat a whole pack of cookies and a whole tub of ice cream, but I know that once I start, I can't stop. So I try to make good food choices. I've been doing some walking lately, just a few, like maybe 20 minutes of walking daily. Um, so really just watching what I eat, and I drink a lot of water. I feel like water
Okay.
is the key to a
I'm
lot of things.
jealous. I'm jealous because I don't. I'm jealous. So what about when it comes to work? How much you put in the work? Like what is a day like with Adri? Like a 24-hour day. What does that look like?
Um, that looks like getting up, going to work, from about 8 to 5, dealing with lovely customers. And then once I'm off, that's usually when I go for a walk. Because if not, it's not happening. So I have to try to stay motivated. Um, and just, going to see some friends, or just going to I don't know, going to eat or something like that. I live a very slow life, but I'm okay with that. It's very peaceful. It's very non-dramatic.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Tell me some of Adree's pet peeves. What are your pet peeves?
Oh, I don't think we have enough time. One pet peeve for sure. I don't like when, like, if I'm talking, don't talk over me. That's like a huge, because I don't know. My mom used to do it, and it would just.
Okay.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Okay. Okay. What's your study like?
um, I don't know.
Cause I know we have a insidious disease, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying, that make things wrong seem fair seeming at times, whatever. Like, how do you
Yeah.
cope and combat that? Cause I heard you say, well, the drugs is gone, but I'm still left with these behaviors, which we call character defects, so forth and so on.
Mhm.
You know, you're working with someone with that, I gather.
Yeah, I am. I definitely, I don't, call this particular person all of the time, but I stay connected to people who are willing to hold me accountable. And
Okay.
even just having some accountability for myself a lot of times. Just kind of just taking those 10 seconds to breathe, of playing it all the way through. Like, is it worth me saying what I want to say? Most of the time it's not. Most of the time my first, second, and third thought are not good. So it's just kind of taking a step
Oh,
back, breathing, and then reassessing the situation.
your relationship with women, did anybody ever come back into your life as because I know you don't have no one in your biological family, but you ever seen any woman in your life that's like a mother figure for you that you could look at as a mother figure?
Um, Not really. I would say a
Okay.
lot of women around me have been motherly. They've almost been like a motherly aunt, if that makes sense, but not motherly.
Okay.
Um, yeah, not
Yeah,
really.
and that's it, because usually no one can really place that relationship that a daughter and mother have, regardless of what it was, really.
Yeah.
You know, that's a serious relationship, especially can you think of like when you didn't probably have the relationship that you actually wanted with your mother. That means I can't have that with nobody now if I couldn't have it with my mother. Is that anything to do with that?
No, I definitely, I'm close to, like, my best friend. Me and her mom are really close. I
Okay,
would say I get pieces of my mom through different women. Uh,
gotcha.
yeah, and I feel like that has helped me grow up, especially in my 20s. So I get pieces of my mom through other women, which I appreciate for sure.
And and today, how are you coping? Like around the time when your mother's anniversary comes up, is there anything going on? Your mother's birthday, you know, because those are two, I guess, the two important days would be of
Mhm.
her life, when she was born and when she passed. What's that like for you?
It's funny you actually brought that up, because her passing anniversary just passed on the 25th of September. And I have some moments where I kind of shed a tear, but I'm at peace with it. I feel like towards the end, our relationship got better. So I appreciate that little bit extra of time, and I'm at peace knowing she's not in pain. Like, I'm okay with it today. It doesn't bother me or haunt me as much as it did before, especially now that I'm living right.
Okay. Do you do anything on that day in honor of her?
I'll go to her gravesite,
Okay.
and get her, like, her favorite flowers.
Oh,
Um,
awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. And So at this point, you're doing that. You're doing much better in that area, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what's in the plans for the future?
Going back to school.
Okay, think about going
That's the biggest
and what you
plan.
want to major in.
I just want to go into the realm of behavioral health or social work. Just helping other kids who don't feel heard, or who don't feel seen, like
Okay,
giving them what I wanted when I was younger.
interesting. And
Mhm.
and what make you want to do that?
I love just helping people and I love children.
Okay,
I kudos to anyone who can do behavioral health for adults. I have no patience when it comes to adults because they should know
okay,
better. In
okay.
my
So
head,
you
in my head, in
Yeah,
my
so
sick
so
head.
so you already have the ideal people that you want to deal with, and that's cool too because like anything you do, you want to have your self interest in it. You
Yeah,
know, so where you work at now is that like a job or part of a career?
just a job
Just
for
a
now.
job.
Yeah,
Okay, so you get in and out, and that's
do
it.
what I got
You
to do
don't
when I
look
clock out.
forward to going there.
I mean, it's cool, but it's definitely just a job. But I have bigger plans for myself in the future.
Okay.
Mhm.
So at this point here, what are your relationship now? I know you got your father, with men, what's that like?
Um, with men,
Big brothers, because I know you and your brother relationship ain't where is that. Do you have anybody that you look like your brother, you have a connection with as a big brother, anything like that? Or a little brother?
mm, there's some people that
Okay.
I can call and rely on to kind of just get whatever off my chest. I have found in the times that I was isolated, now I like being by myself. So, I don't, but there are some people that I can call and rely on to um just vent, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you now with your mental health?
I am in a much better spot. Um Finally found like the right remedy, the right medication for me. And I'm very diligent about taking it when I'm supposed to take it, but I'm in a much better spot with my mental health. Like my perspective and view of life has changed for the better.
Okay.
Mhm.
Any therapy that goes along with it? Because I know at times when it comes to mental health, we have our medication, but then sometimes it's good to still talk to a therapist. Any of that going on?
Not at this time. I have been looking into one. But for right now, I'm good with just the medication.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because I know we have our therapeutic where we do stuff as well too,
Yeah.
which is very helpful, because I've
Yeah.
seen plenty people come into the recovery process and end up not needing a lot of stuff after at some point.
Yeah.
Originally, earlier you said you was upset with God
Mhm.
for taking your can you say taking your moms or returning back? Like where's
Yeah.
your relationship now in that area with you and God at this point, or the God of your understanding, I may say.
Yeah, I have a much better relationship with God. I really feel like just over time and getting clean has helped, but my perspective has changed of like, why did this happen to me? And my perspective has changed, so I have a much better relationship. I'm not as angry. I'm not really angry at all. Like I can say I have some type of understanding. Like she was in pain. Like I would think it would be more selfish of me to want her here um than for her to be, returned home when it was her time. So,
Okay. And I gotta say, in the spirit of my mentor now, my female mentor, the Queen Author Doc B, because it sounds like there's probably a book that could probably be written based on this little bit that I heard. That is that anywhere in the future? Did you ever think of that?
I've thought about it. I mean, it I'm not going to say I'll never do it. It could be in the plans. We'll see which direction God has me going.
You know, so that's interesting. So we're gonna, get ready to wrap it up. Any final thoughts, like what you would tell somebody, your age or anybody that's going through what you like, again, surviving addiction, life and death with the things you've been through, it was several relationships that was rocking and rolling, and and now things is mending itself together. What encouraging words you have for our audience right now? What would you say?
I would say, like, regardless of whatever age, like, you don't have to allow addiction to define you or consume you. I always thought I was too young to get clean and do something different. But now I have my whole life ahead of me. So regardless of whatever age, if you're 25, you're 52, you're 75, like, give yourself a chance, like, do something different. And just allow yourself to just take a different path and just give it a try.
Okay. Okay. Any regrets?
Mm-mm.
No.
Mm-mm.
You sound like you come to understand all that had a purpose.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't be
Look
in
who we
this
have
spot.
here today. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look at the smile. Look who we have here. Yo, bring it to the table. I hope y'all putting them hearts up, and I hope you liking and sharing what's going on right now with Queen Adree in the house. Bring it to the table with your co-host Azzam Azzam. We got Doc B. She's in the house. She's here in spirit, so let's not forget her. We want to thank everyone for coming out. Adree, we appreciate you. We're going to be coming back because I know it's going to be a part 2 of this. You know what I'm saying? As you keep rising in your life, I want to thank you for coming out. You have definitely, and check this out. Me and you just set a trend, right? You are my first guest. You know what I'm saying? So we had it pop in. I appreciate you. Much love and respect. Doc B, if you're in the house in the back of the scene, we are done here. See y'all next week, 8 o'clock. Hopefully I got somebody else coming out. If she keeps the commitment, thank you for keeping yours. Love and respect.
Thank you.
You can end it. Yeah. Could I just hit leave and it don't do nothing, right?
No, you hit leave and be okay when you leave.
Okay. Thank you.
That was a nice show. I heard most of it.
Okay, it's all good. It was good. It was good. I felt this shit. Yeah. I can't wait till I can see the what you call this one day. The chat. I wasn't sure what was going on in there.